What's good? Going up on a Tuesday, Lucky Lefty podcast. You know how we do it. ONORA Boys in the building, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey. ONORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, lock in with us. Audio edibles each and every day. And then subscribe to us on YouTube. Smash that thumbs up, helps us greatly. The notification bell, you need to hit that so every time we go live and every time we post a video, you'll know. And then share, let everybody know. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast, home in the misguided passion, and we will forever continue to do what left?
Spin it different.
That's what we do. Now you can go to patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network and you become a member of our Patreon. The petty train that we do each and every day is exclusive to our Patreon. So every day, the petty train will be on our Patreon. You'll get that content. I just finalized things with Cam McDaniel. Chemistry with Cam McDaniel is going to be posted on a weekly basis on Patreon. And then the reverse spin, the first episode of the reverse spin that only lefties can give you, with Left and myself both being lefties, featuring Quincy Avery. That's right, Quincy Avery evaluating quarterbacks. He broke down the Notre Dame quarterback room, talked about each individual in that room. He has really high hopes for Riley Leonard. He really thinks Riley Leonard can lead Notre Dame to a national championship. He talked about that. And then we talked about some other things, the art of setting up a pro day. The art of setting up a pro day for a quarterback. Great conversation, about 50 minutes surrounding the quarterback position. We talked about the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, why they're the only franchise in NFL history not to have a 4,000-yard passing quarterback. It's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. It just is what it is.
It is what it is.
Great content. We thank Quincy Avery, QBTakeover.com, and tap into his podcast that he does each and every week with Deshaun Watson. But once again, you can get that exclusively at patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. How you feeling today, Left?
Feeling great. Feeling great.
Yeah, I'm feeling. Don't forget, you can go get our beautiful merch. If you're watching right now, our shop is right there on the YouTube page. You can lock right in there, get all the beautiful hoodies, crew necks, the Spin It Different line, you know, the Lucky Lefty line with the logo. And then we have the 1842 line with the end zone stripes. We got more stuff to come. We got our first version of our trucker hat with the stitch version coming later on. Left. I'm feeling pretty good today, Left. I finally allowed, after we got through talking, I finally allowed the missus to take down the Christmas tree, Left.
That's right.
You guys made me feel bad. You guys made me feel bad about it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I had to admit, is another part of the content over at Patreon is that I shared with everybody that my Christmas tree was still up. My wife tried to take it down twice, and I stopped her. It kept me in a good mood, Left, and finally I relented. I said, okay, the Super Bowl is going to be on Sunday. I cannot watch the Super Bowl with a Christmas tree up. I can't do it. It's going to give me mixed vibes. You know,
you can't bring the Christmas tree into Black History Month.
Yeah, see, when you're in a city like Chicago, you need something to look forward to, right? I'm dealing with 40 degrees Left. So once the Super Bowl is done, I start feeling like spring is coming. It's on the way, right? That's my bookmark for spring and warmer weather, the Super Bowl. So I can't have the Christmas tree reminding me of winter when I'm trying to look forward to the spring. So I finally had to take it down. Today, we want to talk about visits that are coming up. And we talked about it yesterday, Left. It's important to get official visits.
That's right.
It's important to get official visits, and it's important to get people to campus in order to get them on board in the recruiting class. The adjustments that need to be made by Notre Dame, if any, moving forward from a recruiting standpoint. That's the LL question of the day. Is there anything that you would like to see from Notre Dame moving forward from a recruiting standpoint? Left, the more I thought about this, one thing that I could say is I would like Notre Dame to stay in the fight a little bit longer. I think this Notre Dame staff, the first 2 years, have been willing to move on from guys that they felt like they had comparable people on the board, or they felt like might go too far or might go up to actual signing day. And I don't know if they were willing to stay in that unless they knew for sure that they were going to get that guy. How do you feel about Notre Dame and where they stand? I like them jumping out early on kids. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. But then I take back and I say, you jump out on kids, what's on the other end? You know, because you have to be able to close, especially the top kids that you're trying to get into your program.
Yeah, I think ideally you want to be how Georgia and Alabama are, is when they come in on a guy, it's at the pace in which they want to. It could be on the back end, it can be some early interest, but I do like us putting our hat in the bucket early on. I think especially for guys that are in our backyard, like a Chicago, because you know that other teams are trying to put their territory in there. So there's nothing wrong with being early. I think that would be something that's different for us, because I think we've taken more of a niche in previous years to how we recruit. But with this, I think now Marcus Freeman is turned into what recruiting is, which is a 365 type of service. So now there's no limits to official and unofficial visits. You can go at any time. So it makes it interesting.
Yeah, even with that being said, Left, you know, we discussed this and we actually brought it up on our show over on Patreon with Quincy Avery. He actually said he liked the rule that Marcus Freeman had in place. And one of the things he brought up was, look, we have to realize that schools are actually paying kids to take visits now. And with that bit of information, I said to myself, look, if I was a recruit and Auburn calls me and says, hey, we just want you to come visit. We'll give you 5 stacks to come visit and spend the weekend to give us an opportunity to show you who we are and what we're doing.
Does that make it official then, or is it still unofficial?
Dude, I would ask for them they are on the hook financially if it's an official visit. If it's unofficial, then that's you paying for the trip.
Okay.
So maybe they can roll it up into expenses somehow, some way for the official visit. However the accounting department wants to do it. But just finding out that tidbit of what's going on with schools in the South, you know, it gave me a different look to say, now I see why the rule is in place. I do believe, like you said, there needs to be a case-by-case situation depending upon who we're talking about. But even with that, knowing that schools are paying kids to come take visits, that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, I think it is important that the attention to detail and how you got to be so technical on how to set up these visits. I think it shows just how strenuous the process can be with kids, and how some teams come across a little desperate. I don't know how convincing a kid is when you're telling them you'll give them $5,000 a visit. I don't think we have to do that at Notre Dame necessarily. I think we lead with different prospects. I mean, hey, we got Kenny Minchie calling up to the school. So, it's just an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, Lucky Lefty podcast. That is crazy that Kenny Minchie actually called Notre Dame like, yo, y'all still got room in y'all class? You still interested? That is something that is in, man, stark contrast to what normally goes on in the recruiting circles. So later on in the show, we're going to hear from Cam Williams and CJ CARR. Chris Mitchell, who we openly apologize to if we offended him by reporting that, he ran more than likely a 4.4, and we loved his film. We thought he would be very productive at Notre Dame, but the young man told us he's electric, and you shortened me on my speed.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, we almost like he created a villain, man. Like we disrespected the man saying 4.4. I'm like, well, excuse us.
So we look forward to hearing from Chris Mitchell, but we heard him talk about, along with Riley Leonard, how they're both impressed with the freshman class that have come in early and enrolled, and they spent time with them. And to hear that the freshman class is impressing current players on the roster and also transfer players that are coming in, it makes you feel good about the maturity level of that class, doesn't it, Lev?
Yeah, it makes you feel good because you know that it's a good setup for the future. You can bank on it. And when you can bank on something like that, especially the synergy in the class, it's moving in the right direction.
Also, we're going to talk about, Left Jadon Blair has set his official visits for the summer, and he's going to be coming to Notre Dame. And we talk about getting kids on campus, right? This is a young man that you have to get on campus. Mount Tabor, North Carolina. Big time kid. He changes the game. You get this kid, because it's already a pretty good defensive back crew that has been put together in the 25 class. You have guys like Ivan Taylor and Creed Thomas. And I think Creed Thomas, his team just won the Las Vegas camp weekend that was just out there this weekend. So kudos to them. But he's one of the most elite athletes in the class out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Mount Tabor. And Left at the safety position, we were talking about this yesterday, right? Like the defensive backs, the cornerbacks is one thing, but you have to build on the Nagurski win by Xavier Watts.
Yeah.
Right? And not just in development, because you have Adon Schuler and other guys in the pipeline that are currently on the roster, but we need to see upgrades from a recruiting standpoint.
From a star standpoint.
Yeah. And getting this young man on campus for an official visit is absolutely pertinent. And they get that visit from this young man. That's good to hear.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You getting guys like that on campus. You showcase the award right when they arrive and be like, this can be you. I think we got a really good pipeline from a linebacking standpoint. When you got a Manti, then you get a Jalen, then you get a Jeremiah Owusu, back to back years, and all of those guys won the trophy in high school too.
Yeah.
So that's an easy slam dunk trend when you start talking about security in the next level. You're a linebacker at Notre Dame. Okay, we can point to 3 guys that still make an impact today, had great careers. So now we got one Nagurski in that back end. Plus, we already got a first round at corner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you building on that. So, like you said, it's nothing against Adon Schuler. But if you bring in a number 1 athlete at safety in, I mean, hey, it's just from a number standpoint and all that, that's something that's an upgrade that is just due. I mean, where else would you look?
All right, Left, you want to watch a little film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it. I know you already like the young man, but let's just go ahead and allow you to talk about it with the rest of the folks right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. This is Jadon Blair, Mount Tabor High School, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We already got Micah Gilbert, Bryce Young, early enrollees in the 24 class. And this young man, the film speaks for itself. And shout out to the editor, because I love great editing. He's in 2 deep, single high. They trust him. They play cover 3 right here. He's just quick to the ball, man.
And he
Big,
looks pretty
athletic.
big.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Big and athletic.
You kind of got that Kyle Hamilton track to the football. He just
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You said it, Left. I didn't say
moving
that.
amongst the trees seamlessly, getting to the ball carrier. That's something that Kyle does really good. You know, when the guy catches the ball and you see defender just pop up on the screen, you like, oh yeah, he's tracking him down pretty well. And that's an elite trait, to be able to move through blockers and get to the football as if you walk like Steph Curry, just walking through the defense. I think that's stands out immediately, and I know that's a good trait to have, especially for his size. You be like, oh, you know how an oversized kid can just screen pop. He's a screen popper for sure. Now I don't see too much coverage on this thing, but hey, maybe
Well,
it's
that's why when you edit, you focus on the strengths. See,
that's right.
that's
That's
you
right.
focus on the strengths as an editor.
I mean, you can tell his eyes are in the backfield. He's a physical player. He can make tackles in the open field. He can shed blockers very well. He doesn't back up too often. So everything he's doing is top down and aggressive. And he does a good job of breaking down before the football. He's not like some of these top guys who's just heat-seeking missiles. He's going in closing space, something that you see in NFL, closing space on guys, especially the shifty ones, and taking away the air in the tackle, which makes it a lot easier, forcing a guy to go one way or another. Very technically sound tackler. But like we said, I ain't seen one pass defense his whole tape. So maybe he got a longer tape. We got to skip through some of it. But hey, from a coming downhill, tackling the ball carrier, another inside. I mean, he got maybe it's categories. There it is. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
categories.
dude. That's why I said the editing is wonderful for the young man. He's showing you the different levels that he has as a player. Now he's coming from depth, and now he's in the box.
He just looks like a bigger player than everybody else. So it's just like I gotta get a size comparison when I get to the next level. But I mean, he looks like he can be a day one guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Caleb Downish type of impact in the right system. I think from an Al Golden's perspective, those safety blitzes gonna look real comfortable for a kid like this.
Good call.
We're not
Very
gonna
good
have to
call.
worry about him being from super far. He knows how to do it. He's been doing it his whole high school career, just coming downhill, forget the pass. So I do think this is a great fit, safety wise. That I think Xavier Watts got a lot of credit from playing inside the box like this, making plays off of good secondary play, being a force tackler as a extra guy in the
Here you
box.
go, Left. Here you go, Left.
Okay, here we go. This is the
This is
coverage we're talking about.
Yeah, that's why, dude. I gave praise to the editor, bro. This
Game
is how
winning
you edit film.
see. Great job making a game winning play when it mattered. I'm talking about playmakers. Great job making a play on the football. A little bit of returnability. Just his size just stands out so much for me. Like, good grief.
Yeah, yeah.
He looks like a damn near DN playing safety. Or maybe his team's small. I don't know. But he just looked way bigger than even the dudes running next to him. Like, who are they? Those dudes little. But no,
But the
he's just a
movement,
guy.
though, at that size, Left, that's the most impressive thing.
Yeah, it's just the size is most important, and he's playmaking around the football. He's very physical on contact, which helps. You get your hands on the guy, you slow him down. But just overall, I like his ability to look comfortable at his size and do many different things and make an impact. So, like I said, I could definitely see this guy as a day one guy, one of those freshman All American types in the right defense. And thankfully for us, what he seems to do on film really well is what we ask our safeties to do, except he's more athletic and probably got a lot more years and more comfortability doing it. So if I'm Al Golden, I think this would be a great fit, especially to add to what we have with Xavier Watts. I mean, this could be something where Xavier Watts can bring him on board. He's a day one guy. They rotate, whatever. So um, this is the result of having award winners on your defense and also a top 10 defense. Stands out.
You feel like he's just as extinct or super instinctive like Cal is. Because Cal's instincts for the game are absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think he's more of a see ball, get ball type of guy. They don't seem to be running too many different defensive schemes. They just kind of having him float around, play in the box. But he's a super athlete. So being a super athlete, most of that is instinct. And I think that will come into play early for him until he gets comfortable in a defense that he can manipulate and do different things in.
Once again, Mount Tabor High School, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Oh, man. Safety, athlete, nickel, whatever you want to call him. You just saw he's a wide receiver as well. Jadon Blair is going to be visiting Notre Dame officially on June the 7th. He has some other visits. I believe Michigan is on the 31st of May. If I'm not mistaken, he's set up already. Yeah, no, Michigan's June 14th. Penn State is June 21st. And then in South Carolina, it's on the 31st of May. So that seems to be the four teams that are like the contenders along with Notre Dame, South Carolina, Michigan, and Penn State. South Carolina being a school close to them. Penn State, that's their region. The DMV area, the Carolinas, no surprise there. And then Notre Dame has been smacking Michigan around in recruiting. That's why they tried to come get Chad Bowden. So I'm not shocked that Michigan is on him as well and that Michigan is getting a visit. And if you watch the safety play of the Michigan the last 2 or 3 years and whom they've put in the NFL draft, you understand why he will be looking at the Michigan Wolverines, even though they've lost some of their defensive staff that left to go follow Jim Harbaugh out to the LA Chargers. So this is a must get, Left. This is one of those guys along with Damian Shanklin, that remain on the defensive side of the ball that you feel like, okay, this is a dude we have to get in the class. I love the class as it currently sits, but like you said, Left, he's a screen popper. Damian Shanklin is a screen popper. You have to finish the class off with screen poppers, bro. You have to. The class is good, really good. But in order to make it a great class, you have to finish off with guys like Damian Shanklin and this young man.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all about the totality of what recruiting can really be. You can never stop recruiting, even though when you think you got a good class, it can be better. And when it comes to something like that of getting better, you start getting into that 1% category of getting better. Yeah, we got a good class that beats 85, 90% of other recruiting classes, but that 1% better are kids like this that are your day one players. Guys that can come in, you got them in a rotation 1-2 deep, like Kyle Hamilton. So when you can top the class like that, that's where you start to see the stars shine early, and then the class in the coming years support that to where you're getting those successful playoff teams and championship teams.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Can I tell you a very interesting stat, Left? I might have mentioned this before, but I'm going to bring it up and put a Notre Dame twist on it. Do you realize the Chicago Bears are the only NFL team not to have a quarterback ever throw for 4,000 yards? Yeah,
But
on the
that's because
team.
y'all been built off of defense, and y'all had what's the name for a long time. Uh, Matt Forte. Remember that? Y'all had a bunch of.
Left. It's 2024, bro.
I'm just saying, y'all history been running that football. Walter Payton. I mean, y'all haven't left that
Just
tradition since.
just 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 admit the organization stinks. Left. It's okay. It's okay. We can just say it.
Y'all got
That's
y'all got to the Super Bowl before most teams still.
yeah, running the ball like you said, and the great defense. You're right, and we haven't been since, have we? 85. Absolutely. When's the next time, or will Notre Dame ever have a 4,000-yard passing quarterback? Yeah, I'm
Um,
glad you said that because Notre Dame has been built on the same principles, defense and the running game. You think we'll ever see a 4,000-yard passer at Notre Dame as college football evolves?
I think we'll see more now just because of recruiting. You pull a guy like Chris Mitchell in there, and you pull a guy like Bo Collins to transfer. You got, you know, your receivers getting to a prime stage. It's some production is going to be a lot out of that room. Is going to be begging to get out of that room. So you got to really look at what's been working in college football and the trends. And every successful winning team in college football championship has somewhat of a superstar receiver corps. Washington had it. Texas has some top 3 round guys. Michigan is got some receivers now that are popping on the board that have been, pretty good receiver players. So Alabama always got them. Clemson had them when they were championship. Ohio State obviously has been successfully in the conversation, even though they won one in 2015. They still are in the conversation because of their receiver core and the first round talent that they produce. So it's just a recipe for championships. It's a receiver core that's very talented, you know. And then from there, then it comes to all the other defense and, the running game, that sort of stuff. But the secret sauce has been having a very successful receiver core. Not just one guy, but a few guys that are up and coming, some vets and some guys that are first round, second.
So Jack Cohn did pretty well. Brady Quinn almost got there in 2005, 39-19 passing yards. Jimmy Clausen, 37-32 in 2009. Nobody of recent history, no one's gotten over that 4,000 mark. CJ Stroud got over 4,000. Bryce Young got over 4,000. Um, I think Michael Penix eclipsed 4,000. Jaden Daniels definitely eclipsed 4,000. I just think it's a mark for quarterback play moving forward that you look forward to for the elite quarterbacks, and the quarterback room talent in Notre Dame is improving, has improved. I just wonder whether or not that mark is ever going to be reached, say, within the next 5 years by a Notre Dame quarterback. It's an interesting conversation. And then the need, is there a need for a Notre Dame quarterback to have over 4,000 yards left? That's an entirely different conversation, especially if we're talking about winning the national championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it to me it's a need because I just haven't seen it done without it. But also the fact that it shows that we have balance. I think we've made it a good amount of time with consistency, having elements of winning, like the run game, a consistent O line, and a defense that has gotten better. But the championship level we've always missed because we haven't had the production and the receiver room that we've needed to complement those other pieces. So to me, that production out of that room is what we've been missing, but also that connecting piece, having a quarterback be at a certain level to make it all happen.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Michael Penix almost threw for 5K this year, bro.
And it got him 12-1 to a championship.
He threw back-to-back years. He threw for 4,000 yards. I think it might happen. I don't think Riley Leonard needs to throw for 4,000. If Riley Leonard, if he can give us, let's say, total yardage, give me the total yardage you would love to see from Riley Leonard at the end of the year.
3,500 combined.
Oh,
that's it? Because you would think he would run for at least 500 to 600.
I got him running for like close to 850, and then subtract that from 35. That'd be his passing.
Man, I would say I would put the number for me. I would like to see him at 3,800. 3,000 passing, 700-800 running. I would be cool with 36 because I had him originally in the 5s. Because I mean, we have the running backs. I mean, he doesn't have to run as much.
We got too many pieces for him to just be having 5,000 total yards. You know, I just don't see I don't see his talent being that high to do that, but I also don't think it needs to be called upon to get that many. You know, I think we just have so many other focuses. You got to feed that running back.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know,
and we know Dylan McCullough is going to play everybody.
And then Riley's going to be trying to run a little bit too. So that's I think is more of a 60-40 run pass offense because of that. Maybe even 65-35, you know. Run pass, just only because that's an obvious strength. We're not trying to recreate the wheel with a guy that's not known for passing the football, and use the pass more of an efficient, explosive way. You know, you got Chris Mitchell, you got some guys get down the field, Jordan Faison, similar to how they did Brandon Wimbush. You get the play action and the heavy run game, Brandon's issue ran into throwing too many picks, which will happen to Riley if it's too much focus on him trying to save us out of situations rather than playing within the game.
Yeah, I can see that. Like his highest passing yardage right now is 28, correct? That's his highest passing yardage, over 2,800 on a season. Yeah. At Duke. More talent, better wide receivers, better offensive line. I can see him going 33 to 3,500, improving maybe about 300 to 500 yards on that.
Total or passing?
In passing, because if he's done 28 at Duke, I could say he could do over 3,000 at Notre Dame, just based upon his surrounding cast and his supporting cast.
But that was the year before his last year.
Yeah, he was injured this year. So, I mean, he missed half the season. I'm not going to hold him accountable because of that. I'm just
saying his best year wasn't last year. It was the year before last year. So that time definitely, I think, would more resetting than it would all of a sudden propelling the things he hasn't done before, you know.
Yeah.
I think him having a better team only helps so much because I think having a better team, the ball is going to be in other people's hands for more in other ways, you know. We may hand off the ball to more people than we should. I mean, we got enough to do it with. So it's all what Denbrock wants to do. I think he can turn a guy and make him more consistent. But I just think that's a 2-year process, man. You know, you talk about, it's easy to understand the offense. Yeah, but it's one thing to understand and to be comfortable running it and confident in running it. Yeah, it's easy to understand on paper, on the chalkboard, maybe even in practice, but to be like, oh, let's go to this play because that's the one I'm really good with. See, that takes 2 years. And I think that's a fair assessment due to the fact that the same offense coordinator got the same quote-unquote type of quarterback statistically, And then year 1 and year 2 is dramatically different to the point where he won the Heisman in the second year. So yeah, Denbrock is capable, but it's a 2-year process, not one. And I don't know if Riley has 2 years that Notre Dame's thinking about. And hell, if he does great in his first year, I don't see him trying to stay for 2 years.
My fault, Left. I had myself on mute there. I'm gonna entice our bettors, Left. I'm gonna set the over under at total yardage at 3,700 for Riley Leonard. 3,700. That's the over under
Combined,
total
right?
yardage combined. 3,700.
What did I say? 35 combined?
I think you did say you would be comfortable. You said you would be good with him getting 35.
Yeah, I think he hasn't done anything over 32.
No, that's not true. Because he had 2,800 passing and close to 800 rushing 2 years ago. So that was a little. I think he was a little bit over
this 2 years ago
3,500.
thing is, man, that's different. Jaden Daniels didn't take a year off,
He
So
got hurt, dude. Why you keep acting like he played a full season?
No.
His
I'm
stats is
saying,
whack.
the fact that it was different. That time is different. Then you switch into a new system. You got to get comfortable. That whole adjustment period.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you're not going to just splash on the scene with 4,000. I think we can both agree it's not going to be in the 4,000 range.
That's why I set the over under. I had originally 3,600.
Okay,
so
you bumped it to 37. I'm at 35.
You know what?
Like
You just talked me into it. I'm going to go back to my first mind. I'm going to put the over under at 3,600. So bookmark.
Okay, I think they'll bet on that. I think the fans will bet
February 6th, bookmark it. The over under for total yardage, 3,600 yards. Rushing, and passing combined is the over under for Riley Leonard in 2024.
Now, to be fair, Sam's numbers were down when he came to us, and we won 10 games. Sam's numbers went down.
Right. Probably we feel like Riley's a much better prospect, right? We both feel Riley's a better fit and prospect for Notre Dame than Sam Hartman was.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, from a number standpoint, we were thinking we were getting 3,800 with Sam, and he ended up getting 26 or something. It was just too drastic of a difference.
Yeah, we spent a meal and ended up getting $3,800 worth of production.
Yeah,
that's what we got. That's what we got. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We don't have the same feeling though, ladies and gentlemen. We both feel better about Riley Leonard than we both initially felt about Sam Hartman.
They'll take the over on 36. I don't know what kind of magic y'all think is going to take place. Because, I mean, hell.
I think 3,600 is a good number. That's a good number for people to like wager,
Taking the over, though, that's saying he finna be in New York.
I mean, the over could be 3,601 left. He could literally get 3,601.
Ain't even New York at this point. New York is like 43, 44 with like 50 touchdowns. That's New York. So we already saying he ain't that by the numbers alone. Now, I'm not saying he can't get to that, but that's just a huge jump to go from 29 to in the 4,500 range. I mean, damn, who do we got at receiver?
Hey,
that's a bigger conversation than his talent. That's like, who else we got? We must got the number one something.
Let's go ahead. I'll take it a step further. I'm going to put his passing yard over under at 31.
31. Okay, we on the same page. I said 31 for passing.
So are you taking the over or under if I put his passing yards at 3,100?
Yeah, that's a good number to bet on, 31.
Are you, no, not total. I'm talking about just strictly passing.
No, for passing, yes. I think that's a good bet. That's a good number to bet on.
Are you going over or under?
Because that's what, 250? That's 250 a game?
Yeah.
About 250. I mean, 250 again.
Now, our requirements, because we've only required Sam Hartman to give us 200. We're requiring more from Riley Leonard.
Or the schedule
or Steve Angeli.
We should put it. Hold on, let's look at this schedule real quick. We should put it on some of these teams.
Oh, dude, he might not play the fourth quarter with this schedule.
That's what I'm saying. We should. That's on. Hold on. Okay, we got Northern Illinois. We should put up some. He should put up 350.
I agree.
Purdue, he should put up 300. Miami, he should put up 350. Louisville, he should put up 250, 300. Stanford, he should put up 300. Georgia Tech, man, we got the softest schedule in the world. I might put him at 4,000 yards total. Just because, I mean, come on now. Come on. I can't even get to a tough game where I'm thinking he's going to throw under something. He going to throw under 200 yards versus Purdue? I doubt it. Under 200 yards versus Illinois? I doubt it. Under 200 yards versus – these are back-to-back games, by the way. He might heat up and go from 250 to Northern Illinois to 350 to 400 versus Miami. Yeah, we might have to change that around. Let me do 36 passing.
Wait a minute. After looking at the schedule.
I didn't look at the schedule. Let me do 36 passing.
So wait, he's going to jump.
I mean, oh my God. You got 2 back games back-to-back?
Left, but he might not be playing most fourth quarters.
Man, listen, yeah, because you have thrown and done so much in those first 3. That's what. Okay. Hold on. The schedule is significantly weaker than I was thinking. Virginia, Florida State, Navy, Georgia Tech. Oh my God. Stanford, let's say 37 passing.
Wait a minute, Left. Hold on now.
Yeah, because
you have him in Jack Cone territory now.
I mean, this is because oh my God, if we not blowing these teams out with this type of team we have now, okay, I'll be realistic. Let's go 36-50 passing, and I'm going 750 rushing.
So you basically have him in New York. That's what you're saying.
I mean, golly. Because I'm saying that too, because we're going to have some playoff games. So I got to consider some of them numbers.
So I'm writing this down. You have him booked for 4,300. 4,350 total yards.
Yep. Come on.
Okay.
He should be halfway there by October.
So you're taking the over in passing yards.
He should be halfway there by October. You got.
And I'm going to set his rushing yards at 650 for the over-under.
Yeah.
So you have him over on the passing yards, and you're taking the over on the rushing yards as well.
I'm taking the under on both of those numbers. I'm just saying that's the max I can see out of that.
So you're giving us the floor and the ceiling for Riley Leonard. His floor is 3,100, and you think with the schedule he should get to.
The floor would be like 30, 34.
Oh, so now the floor is 34. So you're taking the over. I set the over at 3,100.
No, the under's 3650. I mean,
no. I'm talking about just strictly passing yards.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Strictly passing yards. 3650 is the ceiling. 34 is the floor.
Okay.
Total, I'm saying 4,350 is the most out of this season he can get.
Okay.
Because come on, man, you should be, if you worth a damn, you should be halfway there by October. And that's still early in the season. Because think about it. By Georgia Tech, you should be having 2,500 yards passing, about 30 touchdowns. No.
You said by Joe, wait a minute, Left.
We put 50 on Navy last year, and that was another country. So back home, just imagine what you do back home when you're in your own comfort space.
So you're saying six games in, he should have over 2,000 yards.
I mean, my goodness. You telling me you can't Realistically, Texas A&M, okay, let's say Texas A&M. Look, you even go on ESPN right now, and the tickets ain't even that expensive. That's how you know.
The
ESPN telling you.
tickets are at
These
300.
tickets for this Miami game is $62. Are you kidding me? That's turned by halftime. The game should be over by half. $62? Come on now. And Texas A&M is 300, and I think we blowing them out too.
You're predicting a blowout?
I'm thinking we're beating them 14 plus. I just find it really hard to think that Denbrock just came from coaching up against Ole Miss, Bama, Texas A&M, all these teams. And then he got to go Miami, Louisville, Purdue, Northern Illinois, Georgia Tech, Navy. What? Virginia. Come on. Florida State game ain't even that impressive because that's at home.
So
that's at home.
All I'm saying is I'm going to keep.
What's even crazier is we have only 3 away games.
I don't know how they pulled that off. Is that even legal?
We have literally 3 away games. One at the end, one at the beginning, and one towards the end. Oh, okay. Let me bump that up.
Now you're going to bump it up some more. Yards. So officially today, Malik ZAIRE is telling you that Riley Leonard will be in New York.
It's no way. You have 9 home games? Come on, bro. You're going to play 10 games at home, including the first playoff game. Okay. Let's go. 4,000 yards. No. Let's be realistic. 3,800 yards passing.
You got him at 30. Wait, you have him at 3,800
okay,
now?
Now I'm giving him too much credit.
If that's the case, Chris Mitchell might be going for 1,500.
Oh my God! Look at this. 9 home games. Come on. You got, and these are 1, 2.
If that's the case, 3, Notre Dame might need to go to a conference so somebody
can
balance that off.
7 games at home, back to back. Like you are just at home for 7 weeks. Let me look at this,
and I think they need
the
to
first
add
game
a game
is away. The second game's at home.
And they still have a 12th game to add, Left. They still have a 12th
7 games straight at home. Are you kidding me? 7 games straight?
Left.
That is, I don't even think this is right.
After they play Purdue on the 14th of September, you are correct. Their next away game will be at USC on November 30th.
At the end of the season.
You are correct. you are correct.
This is a fireable thing for Marcus. This is real dangerous. If Marcus Freeman don't blow, man, listen. This might be the lightest, easiest schedule to a championship Notre Dame has ever had in history. There's no way that you have 7 straight games at home. You don't even leave the crib. Where is the difficulty? Not only is it not difficult because you're not leaving the crib, you got teams that are far weaker on average. Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you like, but how is that?
This might be the greatest season of Notre Dame history. Marcus Freeman might mess around and get him a Heisman out of this year, Coach of the Year, a playoff berth. Oh my goodness! And then we're not even talking about the fact that the games away aren't that difficult. The Purdue game's down the street.
Facts.
So really, we got 8 games in a row at home. 9.
Now we didn't allow Purdue to bring their drum in. I wonder if they're going to keep the leprechaun out.
Wait a minute. We literally have 9 straight home games. The first game we go away. After that, we come home. Then we go around the corner to Purdue, and then we back at home for 7 straight. That's 9 straight home games. Because Purdue, we're going to travel heavy for Purdue because we have to. Because it ain't no other time for Notre Dame fans to go nowhere. We're not even leaving the state for one of the away games. So it's either going to be everybody's mobbing to USC or we mobbing to the first game. Other than that, you at home. This has got to throw the travel plans of Notre Dame fans all over the world off. They're like, we got to return. It's like going to Mecca. We ain't got no NFL stadiums. We ain't got no. We got to return
like going
home.
to Mecca.
We got to return home.
Oh,
get your travel plans for South Bend. The bookstore numbers are going to be crazy.
Facts.
Marcus Freeman line is going to be hot. No wonder why they've been building so much on campus. This is going to be a community.
That this is someone. I think
Jason
Smith said this is part of Jack's parting gift to Notre Dame.
Oh man, this is the.
He was like, "Yep, I'm gonna."
He is hand delivering a champion, at least a undefeated playoff berth. How anticlimactic is this season? I mean, basically, we just making money at home all season.
So before A left, I just want to be clear. I'm still setting the line. You talked me into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the over-under for passing yards by a little bit. This is the final because I'm not going back and forth. We negotiated. The chat chimed in. You chimed in. You looked at the schedule. You upped the passing yards. You took them to New York, put them at the head of the Heisman race. Look, over-under for Riley Leonard in passing yards, we're going to set at 3,300. I'm going to put his rushing yards over-under at 650. That's total 3,950. That's it. It's not moving anymore.
Oh man, you got
no 3,950 total yards over/under. You have to let me know what you're taking. Over/under for total yards 3,950.
Taking the over, man.
You're taking the over. You're still taking the over.
If he sucks, you're taking the under. If he sucks, he has to suck in order to get that under. Other than that, man, ain't no way. Listen to me. We won't wear the white jerseys at all this year. We are all blue. We so blue, we got to go green for this year. We putting them things up. After that first game, put them things up till November. Like, what? We don't have no Shamrock game. We ain't got no NFL stadium this year. We are the most I'm telling you, man, Jack said, listen, we making money this year. This playoff, we making money. All that hooping and hollering, I navigated us into 9 straight home games. And we only going to USC because it's a tradition. And they got lucky because they came here last year. If it wasn't for that, we'd be here too. Wow. Marcus Freeman, you have 0 excuses this year. 0.
They got Jack made sure that we still talk about him after he leaves.
Oh, man.
Thank you for the schedule, Jack.
Oh, man, that schedule. I don't know how he got teams to agree to that. And then the caliber of teams. Come on now. Hey, this is where you change the perspective of Notre Dame being a very hard place to play. This is where you establish Notre Dame is a top 5 hardest place to play because there's no way a team is going to get confidence by looking at that score when they come to Notre Dame Stadium.
Now, we do the Shamrock game, or it's a home game, but it is on the road. We play Georgia Tech at the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta.
Okay, I know. I forgot. We can't not have no luxury now.
I might have to go to that one, dog. Atlanta.
Yeah, that's just for fun. That's for the fans.
Right.
Okay, Jack did that for the face. He said, okay, I know we at home a lot. Let me take y'all vacation down to Georgia. It's still Georgia Tech now. We're going to elevate them by putting them in a nicer stadium.
Right.
We're going to put them in the band stadium with us. Because, when we travel, we luxury. So that's just a fun trip for the Notre Dame fan base to just, that's a fundraising trip. They all the higher ups meet down there. This is cocktail hour. Because they ain't going to be watching the game. The game going to be over. They just want to take advantage of the suites and stuff up in there. The game is just to say we having something. there's an event. That's more of a networking event. Because other than that, I mean, come on. What are we talking about? 9 home games. Come on, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If you want to be a Notre Dame fan, this is the year.
This is definitely a good year to travel.
This the good man. Listen,
It's definitely a good year to travel.
You want to love a team. You're gonna be enamored with the fact that we're gonna be whooping teams like it ain't nothing. You're gonna be coming back to South Bend and all the legacy and all the good cut grass, and you're gonna have your opportunities to get gift shop, take your pictures multiple times throughout the year. Cold, hot, because we there through the change of the season. It's, you know what it's like? It's like the Washington Generals versus the Globetrotters. Just come on down and watch us whoop up on these teams, but just enjoy the experience.
And Notre Dame's gonna walk out the sweet Georgia Brown.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a little carnival. We're gonna have a DJ. We're gonna have to think of stuff because we bringing all this traffic home. It's gonna be more than just a game. Because we ain't going nowhere. So, no excuse for Marcus Freeman, man. You should have so many junior days, senior days, come up to the game, kid days, bring the South Bend Pop Warner team out to run on the field. You gotta think of everything because you at home all year. There should be so many alumni events. Listen, it should be classes of guys coming back for games. Having all field passes. I mean, we talk about luxury now.
We should be highlighting every championship team this year.
Every championship team come through. Get you a little section next to the. I mean, we should do it right. Because you're gonna have to fill the time because the game gonna be over by halftime.
Yeah.
For most of these games, you're gonna have to fill. You gotta bring Usher out to perform at halftime or something.
I would rather see Outkast personally, but I mean,
No, we bringing them to Mercedes because we're gonna have to.
That's what I thought you were talking about, the Mercedes game.
I'm talking about our regular halftime. We at home, so we're gonna have to have halftime performances or something like.
You trying to do Usher in South Bend?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
All right.
This is a full experience for fans. They need something more than the game because we should be whooping up on these teams.
So basically, you saying Notre Dame fans are not going to get their money's worth during the game. So we have to make sure that the halftime performances are top notch.
Yeah, because usually people
for what they pay ticket prices.
That's right. Usually, they paying $50. It's like, are we going to the museum or are we going to a game? Like, what are we going to? They don't see the luxury and ticket price, so we got to pump it up some. We got to have a college. Can't even have no college game day there because what's the competition?
Bro,
not for no $50.
You are right. The tickets for the away game. This shows the brand of Notre Dame. The tickets for the away games are more expensive than the home game.
Yeah.
The highest tickets right now for Notre Dame games are Texas A&M, Georgia. Well, at the Georgia
at our
Mercedes-Benz against Georgia Tech and at USC.
The Mercedes-Benz game is our bowl game. We have an in-season bowl game. That's the Mercedes-Benz game because ain't nobody else can just book an NFL stadium and with all the fixings and all that. They're gonna open up the roof for us. They're gonna we run stuff like that. So we have in-season bowl games. So that's what that is. Georgia Tech just coming to fill time. But it's just no excuse. Marcus Freeman should be the most famous head coach by the end of the season.
Hey,
Should be green and blue everywhere.
My man Mike in Oklahoma says, I spent $700 for the Texas A&M game. Yeah, you definitely have some good seats because you can get in the building for $3.
You could have went to all 7 Notre Dame games front row.
No, yeah, you literally could have. You could have taken that $700, Mike.
You got season tickets.
Left, you're right. You looking at these prices? That $700 might cover literally
with a
five home games.
Yeah, easily.
You could have gone to 5 home games.
Family, it could have been a whole event. That's what I'm saying. This is a carnival price. It's like the state fair.
Yeah,
$25. You get everything you want. Bring everybody. Notre Dame's gonna have all type of other events outside that game weekend. You're gonna see all types of. You're like, man, I didn't even know Notre Dame was. Yeah, they done built up the community. They done got Yeah, it's gonna be real nice. That's why all them houses being built. They're like, man, get you a timeshare for 7 weeks.
Man, look.
Get you a timeshare. You got a 7-week stay. You just come every weekend, man.
I'm not a hater, but I'm talking about me personally. Taylor Swift would not make my halftime show list. That's just me personally.
No.
Never listened to one Taylor Swift song. I've heard Taylor Swift songs come on the radio, but I'm talking about on my phone, my own dime, my own collection. Never listened to one of her songs. Never done it. But at the same time, I've never bought
Definitely never heard her. Definitely never heard her enough to nominate her for no Grammy.
No, I'm not gonna sit up there and talk about that because I mean, dude, I just can't speak to the music because I haven't given it a listen. That's all I'm saying, and which means I wouldn't want to hear her at halftime. No, heck no. Don't ever peg me for a Swiftie. No. You can't even peg me. I've never purchased a Beyonce album, bro. I don't have one Beyonce album in my iTunes album. Not one. You just never, either one of those gals, and they're both fantastic artists. I'm not riding down the street listening to either one by myself. Now, if my wife gets
Ice Spice with my Ice Spice.
No, sir. I do not have. I don't have a Meg Thee Stallion song in my. No, I don't.
Sexy Red. None of the trendy.
No.
Nicki Minaj.
If she's featured on some of the songs that I have in my library.
Okay, but not solo.
But no solo music from Nicki Minaj. No. I'll give you the females in my library. All right.
I don't like any female rappers, so I'm with you on that.
I'm talking about artists, period. I have Aaliyah. I have Alicia Keys. I have Amel Leroux. Of course, my daughter, Ari Camille. Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox. Armani Caesar. She's the female from the Griselda crew.
No Mariah the Scientist.
I've heard of her. I've yet to add her. I've heard her music though. I've actually heard her music through my nephew and have said, "Yo, she's all right."
LMI, you got the.
I have LMI. I have LMI. I have Brandy.
You don't got any of the Grammy winners, do you?
I do have Cardi B. I do have a couple of Cardi B joints in my library.
Any of the Grammy winners you got, like the one girl, the new one?
No. From this past year?
Yeah, with the TikTok song?
No, I have Deborah Cox.
Fantasia,
yes. Faith Evans. The Fugees, Lauryn Hill.
I didn't hear Ice Spice yet.
You will not hear Ice Spice. I have her, Jaguar Wright. Mary J. Blige, of course. Jhené Aiko.
Glorilla the Pimp? No?
No, sorry. No Glorilla, no. None of that. Kiki Wyatt. Yeah. Lettucey. I definitely have Lettucey in my joint. Lil Kim, Lil Mo. Mary J, of course. Nonchalant from back in the day. I don't know if you know who Nonchalant is. She made 5 o'clock in the morning. That's an old school joint, but it's a bop.
Oh, it said no Rihanna?
Yes, I have Rihanna. Are you kidding me?
The chat said
I absolutely have Rihanna.
Chat wondering, no Rihanna?
Snow Allegra, definitely.
What about Lotto? I know you got Lotto.
Summer Walker, SWV. Man, you're playing. Now you're trolling. SZA.
What's wrong with Lotto?
Tony Braxton, yes, I had not gotten to the T's yet.
Yep.
Yes, Nonchalant is from Washington, D.C. Absolutely. So no, I don't have anything negative. That's what I love. I have nothing
not
negative.
Enough room. There's not enough room for
Yeah,
it.
I have nothing to say about Taylor Swift, but she's not getting any play with me. No, I'm sorry. Yes, I Vivian Green. Yes, I have Vivian Green in my library. Lucky Lefty podcast. When we come back, let's hear from CJ CARR. Left, would you like that?
Okay.
Let's hear from CJ CARR and Cam Williams. We'll talk about it. Lucky Lefty podcast. You already know we spin it different. We're back at it. Lucky Lefty podcast. ONORA boys definitely in the building. Brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, Apple Podcast, Spotify, audio edibles each and every day, YouTube. Subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Home of the misguided passion, and we will forever continue to spin it different. Some of the freshmen met with the media left, and Cam Williams just happened to be one of those people. And I love what the young man had to say. And one of the things he talked about, I don't have the video, but we can just get into it. One of the things he talked about, Left, was the time he's been spending with the veteran receivers. And he says, now this is his words, Left. He said, I like the makeup of our wide receiver room because it's different than last year. We have veterans coming in that have done it. We have veterans on the roster, and then we have some young guys. So even Cam Williams, an incoming freshman, acknowledges that, last year, that wide receiver room, man, that wasn't it, Left. And to hear that from a true freshman, it's like, wow, okay.
I mean, he wasn't there. So.
The dude was he was at every game, though. he watched, and he was around what was going on, and I'm sure he heard players talking about certain things.
I'm glad he wants to be an agent of change.
Heck yeah, I love him being an agent of change. We actually think that CJ CARR is going to be much better than people think. I don't know if the film does him justice, because the people we talked to that were able to see him at Elite 11, and even yourself, Left, came away saying, this kid is better than I thought. He's a little bit more athletic than I thought.
Yeah, if you put the right guys around CJ, he'll be productive. He'll be, above average.
And see, most people will take that as disrespect. And it's not disrespectful, right?
No, he's like Brock Purdy looks pretty damn good and is in the Super Bowl with guys that are talented around him.
That situation it's hard to explain to people, right? Let me tell you somebody this weekend said that Brock Purdy did what Cam Newton couldn't do in a year and a half. And I said, you must be an idiot. I said, Brock Purdy would never approach what Cam Newton did in a calendar year. In a calendar year,
Cam Newton, he won an MVP that year too.
Cam Newton won the junior college championship, the junior college Heisman, the national championship, the Heisman, the first player taken in the draft, rookie of the year, and had 4,800 total yards in the NFL. And please tell me when
went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, like what are we talking
Please tell me when Brock Purdy will ever do that in a calendar year.
Brock Purdy hasn't had the splash of accomplishments. He's had a longevity award.
And he's just been
afforded the chance to play 100,000 games, get drafted to the right situation. Everybody get hurt and play terrible in front of him. Kyle Shanahan got him on luck. It's like, come on.
It's just crazy the length that people will go to. If you want to make the point that you think he's a better passer or quarterback, I'm not about to say that's all that stuff.
They need something to say, because what are you gonna say he does better? He ain't taller, he ain't faster, he ain't,
But when we start talking about this dude, but CJ CARR it's definitely going to be he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback, yo. He's a good quarterback that's going to be surrounded by talent. He's going to
He's
be
better than Drew
successful.
Pine and Sam Hartman, in my opinion.
Is he a quarterback that's going to elevate less talent?
No.
That's, if you're asking me today.
But if you give him Cam Williams, they'll look good. What do you mean? So what is Matt Ryan without Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez?
I was cool with Matt Ryan as a quarterback for a lot of years.
He's cool.
For a lot of years.
He's
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that try to
a championship once every 10 years or something, but he's cool.
Yeah, if you're comparing him to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
No. But Matt Ryan got his place in history,
Absolutely. And
I think
that's
Phillip Rivers, he got his place in history. Played a long time, did some good things, He ain't Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, but he got his place. He ain't He ain't Ben Roethlisberger either. Ben Roethlisberger got, Ben Roethlisberger's up there.
Yeah. And so for me, hearing CJ CARR talk about spending time, really being locked in, it sounds like Steve Angeli is the one really leading the charge with the workouts, quarterbacks going out with the wide receivers, passing the ball, after they work out. I love that. Get the timing down, set yourself up for spring football, and make sure that we can go into the fall with full confidence. I'm loving that, especially when Riley can get back to full force. He's already lightly throwing. He said he was shooting free throws. That kind of, Riley Leonard said, I was shooting free throws with the guys. I'm like, hey, relax, man. Don't let them talk you into like moving around, playing 21, any of that stuff. Just relax. But it's good to hear CJ ingratiating himself. It's good to hear the veterans talking about CJ. We already know that Kenny and CJ, more than likely, from a physical standpoint, probably have the best arms in the room. More than likely.
I know he probably looks the best, polish-wise, but I think Kenny's got the best arm.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, who knows?
It is going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting to see how this quarterback room shakes out, dude, because it is Kenny Minchey, from your conversation, is looking to come in and apply pressure. Everybody's talking about Steve Angeli and Riley Leonard. Kenny Minchey has the mindset in this offseason going into the spring to apply pressure.
Yeah, he's just in a good position to be the surprise or the refresh that, some of these that the team may need. Marcus Freeman, to see him take some reps and be like, okay, that was good to see.
Yeah,
we might have to put him in some ones, and we wouldn't be afraid to put him in the game if it was necessary. Now this year, he should have at least 2,500 yards because these games should be over early, especially with all these damn home games. We should be comfortable enough to put in young guys, to put in other quarterbacks. Hell, run it like practice, have a ones and twos. I mean, we should be running it up on these teams.
Now you're applying the same thing you applied to Riley Leonard. You're pretty much looking at the schedule like, hell, Steve can go crazy on this schedule.
Yeah, Kenny Minchey should have 1,500 yards by the end of the year. And that's mop-up duty. He should be throwing for at least 100 a game in the fourth quarter.
You are really taking this schedule. I think you might be taking it too lightly, Left.
I'm taking Notre Dame seriously. That's the thing. I'm taking Notre Dame seriously, where we got to be realistic about this schedule. Because what is this schedule telling us if we don't go undefeated? Seriously, are you telling me that Northern Illinois is posing a threat to the Notre Dame team that we've built in the last 3 years? Okay, I didn't think so. Oh, what about Purdue?
Left, you realize that you have right now, Left, because I wrote all of this down and noted it and dated it, Left. So you have Notre Dame quarterbacks throwing for over 5,000 yards next year as a quarterback room.
Maybe not 1,500 for Kenny Minchie, but Kenny Minchie should have some type of numbers. Oh my goodness.
Left has the Notre Dame quarterback room breaking all of the records previously set at Notre Dame. Over 5,000.
Come on. You got Northern Illinois is the second game of the season. Texas A&M, if you're worth a damn, should be in the 250s. That's a 7-5 team, 8-5, 8-4 team on average. So this ain't Alabama first game. So you telling me a first-year head coach you can't put up 250 yards, Riley Leonard? And it only gets easier. That's what I'm saying. It only gets easier. Northern Illinois is the next game. That should be a complete. We should look like how Ohio State look every year, just dunking on teams. And we're not in conference. So these are these are like the fourth best team. No, I'm sorry. These are like the fifth, sixth best teams in their respective conferences. Purdue's bottom of the Big Ten. Northern Illinois bottom of the MAC. Miami's top of the MAC, but Miami had a very senior team last year, and they're coming into next year with the Avion Smith, who I don't think can beat Notre Dame's defense. But other than that, I really like the game. I really like the coaching staff of Miami. I think they're a really good coach staff. I love Coach Martin. Coach Welsh is a very smart coach. They're a smart coaching staff. But we have more talent, and we should beat this team by 100 points. Louisville, they can't repeat success, especially with the quarterback they have. We should put up 300 yards versus them. Stanford, they may be better, but come on. We should be able to do – Marcus Freeman should never be in a position where Stanford is posing a threat like he did his first year. We should be mopping them up. Virginia, laughable. Navy, laughable. Georgia Tech's a vacation. Florida State, what are they going to look like by the end of the year after everything they've been through? That's a question. But I doubt that they'll be better than us. And then USC is USC. Miller Moss isn't throwing for 6 touchdowns versus. So what do they got? Because they still won't have no defense by the time the end of the year comes. So there's no way that our quarterbacks are not having one of the greatest seasons of all time. Of all time. What's the top 5? What's the top 10 matchup in that schedule? Because we knew 3 top 10 matchups last year before the season started. We don't even have a top 10 matchup in this year's schedule. Damn near not even the top 15. So now Notre Dame, being a better program than years before, is going against unranked opponents all year? Come on. Or bottom 25 ranked opponent? Come on. We are in a position where, damn, we might not even have enough to get to the playoffs. We just got to go straight undefeated.
You're applying a lot of pressure, Left. You're applying a lot of pressure. Hey, man. CJ CARR spoke about Mike Denbrock and his offense, Left. Check out what he said. I wonder if you agree with the young man.
Denbrock actually visited me my junior year at Saline. We ran into each other at the school. And so it's been a great few weeks getting to know him more in depth. And so saw him at the bowl game too, got to exchange a few words with him. It's been great though. I'm excited for him to continue to coach the offense and get us in the right position to win football games.
Sounds like some little changes. The more I hear about what players are saying, it sounds like this playbook they're studying might have some tweaks. It might be a little bit different than what they looked at last winter with Jared Parker and the transition from Tommy Rees. That's just what I get. Mike Denbrock might be bringing some stuff that he had down there on the Bayou, Left.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rinse and repeat process, especially if it's just happened last year. You had a lot of success doing some things. I think Denbrock believes there's better strengths in Notre Dame's team fundamentally than probably LSU, where It's not a gap he had to cross to get there. But also, he saw how so many things he probably tried out with Jaden Daniels worked very well and could be a repeat process. Plus, he's looking at this schedule like, man, we can do anything we want, and we can got the talent to run and throw the football. I mean, let's just start doing whatever, you know. So I do think it's way more open than years before, but that's because of the recruiting, you know, and where the team is at this point. I think this is a team that's ready to cross into that Rubicon of championship level teams.
This is funny because I understand what he's trying to say, but Justin ND Troll Sniper said, hard to know strength of schedule with any certainty in today's portal era. Northern Illinois is trash. I don't care what the transfer portal is. Northern Illinois is trash.
Now, their defense, Northern Illinois' defense has been really good. No, I'm just saying.
They're not defending Tulsa. I know that's the game you called up there, but they're not defending Tulsa.
Listen,
this is not Northern Illinois and Tulsa.
From a structure standpoint, they got, I can say they got some defense, but they can't score, so it doesn't matter.
Purdue can't stop a cold. They couldn't stop a cold last year. They could score, but they won't be able to defend.
I'm telling you, by game 6, Leonard should be 2,500 yards at least.
Like you said, Miami, Ohio is okay. What did we do to MAC teams last year? They got smacked. What are we going to do to MAC teams this year? They're going to get smacked. Yeah. Louisville, we saw who Louisville was at the end of the year.
That's who they are.
When we saw Kentucky smack Louisville, it's like, okay, Notre Dame messed up. It wasn't that Louisville was all that great like everybody thought. They came back to earth, and we saw who Louisville really was.
They gonna be in the middle of coming home.
Their quarterback is suspect.
Super.
And they're coming on the road. Stanford.
Come on.
Shout out to them. They secured a commitment from Bear Bachmeier. Shout out to them for getting their quarterback in the recruiting class. Are we really worried about Stanford, who has lost more people in the portal than they've gained?
Come on.
Georgia Tech was an impressive ACC team. Dude, Georgia Tech impressed me last year. They overachieved. Can they back it up for a second year? We'll see. Navy is Navy. If you're worried about Navy, what are we really talking about? Florida State, the quarterback is DJ Uiagalelei.
Come on.
Period. He doesn't worry me. Virginia, from a recruiting standpoint, I love the turnaround they had. They had a big win on the road against North Carolina. And they played a lot of ACC teams closer than most people thought they would last year. But they're still 2 years away. Shout out to them playing through tragedy and everything that program went through. That coaching staff was tremendous. But Virginia, from a talent standpoint, they're not going to be anywhere near Notre Dame.
Period. And it's about we're catching teams.
But their freshman quarterback, he will turn it over, but he is a playmaker. This will be his second year. I'm going to love watching him against Al Golden's defense. I will admit
they're just catching us at a good period of us trending upwards.
Yeah.
So it's like you're catching a train that's rolling already. We're not necessarily building from the ground up or transitioning new guys with old guys or trying to replace we getting guys that are hungry, guys that are at the top of their games. Marcus Freeman's in a good position and comfortable. He's got his staff where he wants it. You know, you in a tough spot playing Notre Dame right now. And we got 10 home games, basically. Everything is in our favor moving forward.
And so, based upon what we saw, because that was the thing we said at the beginning of last year, right? The teams that you're supposed to beat, we don't just want to see Notre Dame beat them. We want to see Notre Dame dominate them. That is the next step. They took that next step. The teams they were supposed to beat, they didn't just beat them, they dominated them. And then the tough games, we expected Duke to be a tough game, especially after Ohio State. It was. Dude, we expected Louisville, especially with that 4 straight night games and all that stuff. Tough stretch. That's fine.
This is the easiest schedule in Notre Dame history. Easiest.
Dude,
Because of home games alone. When have you ever seen us have 7 straight, damn near 9 straight home games? Straight.
I
Come
just
on, man.
tell me if I'm wrong, Left. Notre Dame would not face a roster better than theirs next year.
Yeah, that's the whole point. We don't have a roster where I'm like, man, we
Literally, you could say Ohio State had a better roster than Notre Dame.
Clemson has a good roster. Sure.
Clemson has a comparable roster. You could say that. Maybe you can say Florida State, well, heck, the Florida State, what they lost, maybe you could say they have a comparable, roster. USC's roster, USC's recruiting is still 2 years away.
And their coaching isn't
from USC level.
Coach hasn't changed identity.
Miller Moss, I don't care what he did in the bowl game. He's not Caleb.
He's not Caleb. And they don't have the receivers they had last year.
No, their receivers, dude, they had more guys leaving from the wide receiver room. I wasn't impressed by their imports in the transfer portal in the wide receiver room, and the trenches are still suffering. They were young on the offensive line. They'll be better. They got Bear as a defensive tackle, but
that's it.
The trenches are still bad, subpar. Now, they did improve with the coordinator. The coordinator will make a difference. I don't know how much of a difference, but it will make a difference. But the truth of the matter is, Notre Dame's roster
is too good.
Will be better than pretty much any roster they're going to face next year.
We're talking about 2 or 3 deep being hard to decide how to play one. Guys are deep at our running back position. We're not going to see a better running back all year outside of our running backs in our own team.
I mean, let's be honest. Are they going to face a better quarterback room than what Notre Dame has?
I don't think
Are they going to face a better running back room?
No.
Maybe they'll face a more experienced offensive line.
Not facing a better defense all year.
You're right, because Florida State lost their defensive end, their star defensive end to the Peyton kid. He transferred.
You got better coaches.
They lose Verse, they lose Fisk.
I'm taking our defense and offensive coordinator over anybody else's defense and offensive coordinator. So what are we really saying is we're worried about? Other than ourselves, obviously, but
well, see, last year you weren't worried about Duke. I was worried about Duke. Not from a roster standpoint. I was worried about Duke being the next game after Ohio State.
We don't have a game like that set up.
No, there is. You're right. There is no setup like that. There is no, watch out for this game because you're coming off of that game.
It can't get any easier, is what I'm saying. It literally can't get any more. It's like you playing with house money. You got the better team. You're at home. You got all the fancy bells and whistles in recruiting. Your roster is better. Your coaching's better. Your money in the state. All of teams are facing more of a challenge facing you than you are them.
Facts.
So it's like, this is.
No, I understand, bro. I understand.
It would be it's more of an expectation to do crazier things than years before.
And Jason Smith makes a good point. Left, as we get ready to close, how is that going to feel? Because teams usually come together, and great teams love going on the road. When you only have 3 road games and you're at home for that long of a stretch, can that within itself become a distraction?
It's a good way to frame
is that too comfortable?
it could play a factor. I think that for a lot of reasons, from a psychological effect and all of that, and I just find it hard though for the program to not be focused on what we're trying to do as opposed to what we're facing. So the motivation of the fact that we can win it this year, I think should be the whole goal because it's wide open. Because not only do I think we're more talented on paper than our schedule, we're talking about in the country, we're probably top 2%, 3%. So, yeah, down the line, a Georgia, a potential Michigan, or I just don't find too many programs because it's just like quarterbacks. I don't see too many quarterbacks that are just like, man, I'm worried if we got to face them.
Man, Lucky Lefty podcast, great show, Left. Absolutely great show. Tomorrow, we'll hear from more from CJ CARR, more from Cam Williams, and then we'll hear from Keydron Young as well. And then we're going to talk about returning production. I'll just give you a little teaser. And this comes from ESPN's Bill Connolly, who does this every year. And it's great information. Last year, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State were amongst the teams returning 73% of their production from the previous year. So that means teams that return a large percentage of their production end up having really good seasons the majority of the time. Michigan, Washington, and Florida State were great examples. A team like Alabama was an outlier getting to the college football playoff because they came below that 73%. We're going to talk about the teams to look forward to in 2024 and see where Notre Dame lands on this list and return to production. We're going to talk about that tomorrow as well. It's going to be a fantastic show. Thank you guys for tapping in. Don't forget, go over to patreon.com right now, /Lucky Lefty Network. We have the Petty Train every day over there. And then our great conversation, quarterbacktakeover.com, Quincy Avery. He was our featured guest on the reverse spin that we do over at our Patreon at Lucky Lefty Network. Tap in right now. You'll get weekly content, 3 shows, right? We're going to be recording our show with Ken Gibbs a little bit later this week, dropping that. Cam McDaniels, he listened in to the Lauren Lando press conference. He has his take. I won't tell you the comp he said because the comp he gave me kind of scared me left, but he'll talk about it on Chemistry. But that's only exclusively over at Patreon /Lucky Lefty Network, man. Go subscribe today. You get all of that great content on a weekly basis, plus Lucky Lefty podcast on YouTube. Great show. You know what time it is, Left.
Petticoat, Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Left, we probably could do a full show on this. When you went to when you played for Notre Dame, were you a fan of another college football team, Left?
Like I tuned into them.
No, like were you did you have a childhood team in college football growing up? that you still rooted for when you played for Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah, mine was Florida State.
Okay.
Love Florida State.
Okay. Do you think, see, this is my question. So yesterday, media day for the Super Bowl, and everybody should know this, George Kittle from the homeland, you know what I'm saying? Big time Chicago Bear fan. And he wears it on his sleeve, even though he plays for the 49ers. He talks about the Bears on his podcast every chance he gets. He tweets about the Bears. He talks about the Bears trades. He
really an active Bears
he is
fan
a active dude. He hates the Packers. Like he openly talks about it. Like, yo, I hate the Packers, dude. I'm a Bears.
Oh, like he's an actual fan
Yes.
of the team.
Yes. So my question
every week.
This is a special petty train because I need to know from everybody else, does George Kittle deserve to be on the petty train? Should your fandom die? Should your childhood fandom die once you become an employee?
How are the Bears not trying to trade for him? That's so crazy.
It's funny you said that because a Green Bay Packers reporter requested that he never play for the Chicago Bears. Now, this is the crazy thing is George Kittle never said that won't happen. You know what his response is? His response was, it is what it is. We'll see what happens.
Like he is always open for it.
like he is plotting, like, before I end my career, I'm going to play. Yes, I'm going to play for the Bears. Oh, yeah, you can book it.
He got the leverage to do it, though. He got the leverage to be like, oh, my contract's out. Okay, let's go ahead and call Chicago, see what they talk about.
Do you think that's petty? Because I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I don't know if 49ers fans really want to hear you constantly talking about your love for the Bears, bro. But I guess that's kind of authentic, and I guess it's unrealistic to ask people. Like, LeBron openly talked about, but he's a grifter because he openly talked about being a Cowboys fan, right?
He a grifter.
And a Yankees fan. All of a sudden, he's showing up at Yankee State. I was a childhood Yankees fan, but now when the Cubs are playing the Indians in the World Series, here you are, with the rest of your squad in the suite.
Yeah, just the worst type of grifter. That's the one thing I just can't stand with LeBron. It's like, why are you so in favor of whatever the trend is, LeBron? Like, dang, bro, you don't have to do that.
And we're going to talk because your boy is on the petty train. You know that, right?
Who?
Your boy LeBron. You know he's punching another ticket. We'll get to him shortly. But I just thought it was very interesting that, I don't know if that's petty. I think I'm cool. I think that's kind of great to compete, to have love for another team, to compete. I think that's dope. And I think the love that he shows for the Chicago Bears still, as he competes as hard as he does for the 49ers.
Yeah, I think it's very genuine for him.
Yeah.
He's such a good player for his team, but just like absolutely be involved in Bear fandom. Like he's not a part of it. NFL.
So he was asked. Part of that was he was asked, "What should the Bears do?" Yesterday. And he flat out said they should keep Justin Fields and build around that quarterback and give him options like
he's like giving him GM.
Yes. He was like he has options, but they need to give him more options.
Yeah, that's right.
And I said to myself, you know what? You're basically saying, like we do. I haven't had great quarterbacks, but the quarterbacks we've had have had options. Because George Kittle has been an all-pro with Nick Mullins at quarterback. He's been an all-pro with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. And he's a great player with Brock Purdy at quarterback. So George Kittle is pretty much like, hey, if you build around him, you can win with pretty much any quarterback if the team is good enough.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I appreciated it. I have to put NFL media or media in general on the petty train. Not because This is just me, Left, and I'm glad I was taught by my teachers, my journalism teachers, the way I was taught. And some people might not have been taught like this. One of the greatest lessons I was taught is that if you think you have to ask, don't ask. One of my journalism teachers taught me that, and I'll never forget. It was one of the greatest lessons that I still follow to this day. And it just takes me to like some of the stupid questions people ask at these events, bro. Like, I know you feel like you have to ask Patrick Mahomes about his dad, but you don't. You feel like you have to ask, but don't be that thirsty to be the dude that asks. You don't have to walk up to Matt Nagy and ask him what he thinks about Justin Fields when he's there to coach the Chiefs for the Super Bowl. It's just like when you get the urge that a question has to be asked, more than likely, you can do a great job without asking it. And there were a ton of questions asked yesterday that didn't really need to be asked, but people just did it because they felt like they had to. Like, I just have to. I have to ask you. No, you don't. You don't. And the more that I read about the situation, Patrick Mahomes Sr. wasn't arrested for a DUI. It was a DWI because he had an open can of beer in his car. No reports of him failing a breathalyzer or anything like that. The bond was really low. It was set at $10,000. He posted. He got out. I'm sure
enough. He got enough, and he's well taken care of.
Yeah, it's just like, and you know, the story, the more I read about it, is really not. Initially, I was like, man, you don't want to be a distraction. And when I actually got the facts and more reports came out, it's like, okay.
They only care because it's Pat Mahomes' dad.
I just think in the big picture, I just thought I would bring that up. That it's a lot of petty questions that take place at big media events like that. And if your children ever want to get into journalism, pass that little piece along. If you think a question is something that just has to be asked, more than likely it doesn't need to be asked in order for you to do your job. It just doesn't. LeBron James. I think it's funny, but yeah, you're mad petty for wearing that Knicks towel around your neck as you gave that post-game interview and walked off.
Yeah, like
you were super petty. Super petty. I love it though, Lef. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's one of the things he did that I love.
He always do. It's like he know what he's doing, which is so funny.
Absolutely.
Like, where did you even get the towel from? Because they not on your bench. You had to go like ask somebody for that, or like go to their side and take it or something, because those aren't just hanging on your bench. So
right.
To even get the towel, you had to do something to do that, which is the funny
part. Something else left as we get ready to get out of here. Michael Parks. I don't know if Michael Parks, I don't know why he's putting Cheryl Swoops on the petty train. I'm going to assume that he's saying Cheryl Swoops is petty for what she said recently. I don't think what she said is petty. I think what she said is correct. If we're talking about the same thing. She was asked about, she was on the podcast and someone, questioned her and for her opinion on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that Angel Reese has limited skills on the basketball court. The majority of her points come from offensive rebounds. She has somewhat of a mid-range jumper, but she has limited post game. Anybody can see that. So her transition to the WNBA will be, she said, it's going to take her time. She's not just going to come in and just, be up for the Rookie of the Year or be Asia Wilson. No, she's not. She doesn't have the footwork. She doesn't have the skill set. And ladies and gentlemen, she said what Caitlin Clark does in college, she's not going to do in the WNBA because the WNBA is talented. She's right. Caitlin Clark is not about to walk into the WNBA averaging 35 points and just putting up 40 points every other night. She's not. She's not. It's a different beast. It just is. I would say if Caitlin Clark played in the ACC or played in the SEC instead of the Big Ten, which is a above average basketball conference, and Caitlin Clark, ladies and gentlemen, might not be, to some, it's debatable because I've heard this debate, has nothing to do with being bitter. Stop calling people bitter, man. Just because somebody has an opinion that does not agree with you, it doesn't make them bitter. It's their opinion. Cheryl Swoops is a better player than Caitlin Clark, period. I'll say it right now, my opinion. Caitlin Clark will never be the WNBA player that Cheryl Swoops was. She's never winning back-to-back-to-back championships and winning MVPs. Now, put that up there. That's my opinion. Am I bitter? No, it's my opinion. So you're asking an all-time great to give her opinion in basketball. How is that being bitter? She's an all-time great. She's giving her opinion. She's saying, yo, when I came to the WNBA, I couldn't put up the same numbers I put up at Texas Tech, and I'm an all-time great. What makes you think Caitlin Clark is going to be able to come into the WNBA and do the exact same thing that she does in the Big Ten? It's not going to happen. It's just not. Because the competition is going to be a little bit better. She never said she's not going to be a great player. She said she's not going to come in and do what she's doing on a nightly basis in college. Me personally, I don't think that's petty. She's an all-time great. She knows the game. She's coached the game. You don't have to agree with me. You can come talk to me when Caitlin Clark wins back-to-back-to-back championships and gets multiple MVPs. Come talk to me. Until she does that, I'm standing 10 toes down on what I just said. I don't think so. Based upon what? She hasn't done a thing in the WNBA. This is, ladies and gentlemen, just 3 years ago, people were saying the same thing about a certain player that was lighting up college basketball, averaging 30 points from Oregon. You remember that? She walked in with a Nike contract. She was supposed to light the WNBA on fire. Remember that? Kobe. Everybody was talking about it. Kobe was her mentor. Remember Sabrina Ionescu? Remember her? Remember all the buzz she had and how she was going to take the WNBA by storm? And what people forget is that when the competition ramps up, players have to defend. You guys are not thinking about that. Caitlin Clark is going to actually have to defend on the next level. Yeah, she's going to have to defend Kelsey Plum. She's going to have to defend Jackie Young. Yeah. When she plays the Aces, they're going to put her tail in pick and roll, and they're going to make her defend faster players, more athletic players. You forget that. You think Caitlin Clark is just going to go to the WNBA. She can, because she doesn't have to defend in the Big Ten. There's no one in the Big Ten except one player at Ohio State. And guess who's the only Big Ten team that beat Iowa? Ohio State. That's their only loss in the season. And Ohio State quite possibly has the best player in the Big Ten that outplayed her when they played each other. Check out the stats. And when they play each other again, we'll see how the game turns out. Dude, Caitlin Clark is going to have to learn to defend in the WNBA. All of that, playing the worst player on the other team, saving her energy, and just running around screens and shooting from 35. You're not doing that in the WNBA. No, teams are going, hey, we're going to make her defend. Make her stick Kelsey Plum. Make her stick Jackie Young. Yes, sir. Come on. Come right here. Get in pick and roll. When she switches, post her up on that box. It's a totally different world. And that's all Cheryl Swoops was saying. It's a different world. So you all don't have a problem with what she said about Angel Reese, which was spot on, but you really have a problem with what she said about Caitlin Clark. She's hating because she gave a fair assessment of Caitlin Clark, not based upon, she didn't say anything about Caitlin Clark's skill set. Nothing. She talked about the difficulty and how the talent in the WNBA is even greater than when she played. That's all she said. And she said because of the talent, she's not going to be able to do what she does. That's no different than Jay Henry, Juju Watkins, a great freshman at USC. She can be as great as she wants to be. When she comes to the NBA, WNBA, she's going to have to make an adjustment. Maya Moore was going crazy at Connecticut. When she got to the WNBA, it took her a couple of years. And by the time she got to her third year, she was ready to lead the Lynx to a championship. They had a stacked squad with Simone Augustus and the rest of the crew, but she did what she did. That's any level, man. Going from college to the NBA is a huge adjustment. Derrick Rose, Derrick Rose averaged what? As a rookie? Did he average 20 points? I don't even think Derrick Rose averaged 20 points as a rookie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Wemby's not even averaging 20.
Wemby is going through an adjustment period, right, Left? He's not stepping on the floor and just automatically the best player like he's used to. Yo, Wemby's averaging what? 15 and 7, 15 and 8 right now?
Yeah.
Derrick Rose averaged 16 points as a rookie, dude. 16 Left. 16. I think people fantasize like what these people, I don't care how great you are, people fantasize. It's tough, man. Like CJ Stroud, what he did, that's an anomaly, man.
Yeah.
Like Trevor Lawrence is going through struggles. That's what happens when you take a step up in competition because it's not easy. You just don't. No, Wemby is actually impressive, bro. Wemby is at 20 and 10 right now, bro.
Okay.
That right there is pretty impressive.
I mean, he's getting some good buckets too.
Man. Dude, if like William Chaney said, she won't average 35, but she can get 15 to 18 as a rookie. Cheryl Swoops said that. That's exactly what she said. What's the problem? Now players in the WNBA don't play defense? Are you kidding me? Did you not watch? Go watch Game 6 or Game 4 of that series between the Aces and the Liberty. What are you talking about? They don't play defense. Jackie Young was a defensive player at Notre Dame. Now I know you. You know what? That's it. I'm done talking about it because y'all don't even watch the game. The fact that you say players in WNBA don't play defense, now I know you're just hating on the game. You just don't like the ladies' game. Period. So now you're being disrespectful. I can see if you say the NBA doesn't play defense because they don't give a darn about defense in the NBA. We're seeing games in the 140s every night now. Every night. You go watch that game when they lost the Aces without one of their best players at point guard on the road in New York. Literally beat New York to win the back-to-back championships with defense and post play. Literally, go watch the game. New York, with all of their shooters, had the best offense in efficiency, and they literally shut them down. And they won by shutting Breonna Stewart down on the last possession with great defense. Period. Well, what are we talking about? Y'all really want to, this is the thing. They had no problem with Cheryl Swoops and what she said about Angel Reese. They have no problem with that. When she gave a fair assessment of Angel Reese, they had no problem with that assessment. They got a problem with Caitlin Clark, though, Lev. Don't talk about the princess. No, don't dare say the princess can't come in averaging 30. All right. We'll see. We'll see. Y'all go ahead and place that bet in Vegas that Caitlin Clark is going to average 30. Go ahead. Jake, like you said, it is what it is. Lucky Lefty podcast. The same people said you had an unfair assessment of Sam Hartman last year. Remember, Lef? They called you a hater. Beat reporters that cover Notre Dame walked through the halls of the practice facility calling you a hater because of what you said. You ended up being right, Lef.
I mean, we know from an eye test that I wasn't wrong.
But you're a hater, though. You're a hater. You're bitter because you're a former player.
Just prophetic. That's all.
Because you're a former player. If you don't say anything that agrees with what everybody else is saying, it's the whole Cam Newton thing. If you don't affirm that Brock Purdy is the next Joe Montana, then you're a bitter former athlete. Man, grow up, man. It's called conversation, dude. Everybody doesn't have to agree. And just because someone doesn't agree doesn't make them a hater, and it doesn't make them bitter. It means they have a mind of their own. That's it. That's it. I can end the show on that note, bro.
That's right.
I'm done. Yeah, I agree. Malik is a hater on Josh Allen. I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
How am I hating on Josh Allen?
It's not many things that I think you hate on, but Josh Allen might qualify, love.
What? How do I hate on Josh Allen?
I don't know. I just think you go a little bit too hard on 17 sometimes, love.
How? 17 don't go hard enough on himself. That's why they can't win nothing.
Come on, love.
See?
How much harder do you want the young man to go?
The expectation, they talk about him like he's a rival to Pat Mahomes. How?
No one says that, left. No one calls him a.
They played the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning promo before Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen's football game.
Well, you know that was you.
To say as if they're rivals. How?
Michael Parks, what are you talking about? How did I lie 3 times? Now, Cass is making up stuff now, dude. They just want to be right. They just do. They just want that princess to come in the WNBA, take it by storm, win all the championships. Is not happening, bro. They thought the same thing about Breonna Stewart when she was breaking all the records at Connecticut.
But she's a top. She won MVP of the WNBA though.
She did not what, bro? I don't know what he's saying. She did not what? She did not you, bro. I don't know what he's saying. But anyway. Oh, Swoops lied three times. I'm like, I just heard what she said in her assessment. I care less. That ain't being petty. I'm strictly talking about her basketball assessment. In her basketball assessment, she did not lie. Just period. She gave fair assessment. It's just funny to me that the Angel Reese assessment, nobody have a problem with. Last I checked, Angel Reese beat Caitlin Clark in the championship, didn't she? As last I checked, Angel Reese outplayed Caitlin Clark in the championship game. Go look at the stats. And she got the W. Have no problem with her assessment of Angel Reese. But the moment she gave an assessment about Caitlin Clark, oh, man. Like, come on, man. Relax. Relax. Stop. All that other stuff, I care less about. Be better, though, Left. Treat Josh Allen better.
Josh Allen needs to treat his team better, win some games.
Dude, is it his fault that he keeps facing Patrick Mahomes?
No, it's his fault that he rides the hype as if he's on the level of Patrick Mahomes.
But I'm just saying, didn't people consider LeBron the greatest?
LeBron got hardware.
I agree. But he couldn't beat the Celtics. He couldn't beat the Dwight Howard. You want me to go down the list of Eastern Conference teams he couldn't beat while he was in Cleveland the first time?
So you had to keep extending that to navigate.
No. But that not early on in his career, just like Josh Allen?
LeBron has had 3 careers so far.
Okay, so maybe Josh Allen will get to his second career and be successful. Doesn't he deserve time? Just like LeBron got time?
No, LeBron never had time.
What do you mean he never had time?
LeBron was supposed to be the best player in the world his second year. He literally has a tattoo on his back that says the chosen.
But he wasn't the best player.
The chosen one.
But he wasn't the best player in his second year, though.
Who had more expectations, any athlete higher than LeBron going into the professional sports league? Nobody on the planet has ever had the expectations of LeBron James going into his professional career.
That's a great point, Left. I'm glad you brought that point up. That's a tremendous point. Can we get back to the question, though? When you said in his second year, you tried to intimate that he was the best player in the NBA in his second year?
He was expected to be. Yes.
No. I'm just asking you, was he?
He's the only player on the planet
Left.
to have the expectation of being better than Michael Jordan, and he lived up to it.
Can we build this? You know how you get a Lego and you have the instructions? See, right now you're trying to build it without reading the instructions and looking at the picture. Let's look at the picture and build where we're trying to go. Was LeBron the best player in the league in his second year? I'm really trying to stick up for Josh Allen. I'm just using LeBron as an example. This is nothing negative against LeBron.
LeBron was debatably the best player in his second year.
Okay, the best player in the league in LeBron's second year was Kobe Bryant. He was still winning championships and winning MVPs. So stop. That's not even debatable.
I said debatable.
No, it's not debatable. It's not debatable. It's not debatable. Let's stop. It's not debatable. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. LeBron James will then soon become the best player in the world. My point is, give Josh Allen time.
How long? Because Josh Allen's his 5th year. I see C.J. Stroud doing it in 1. Patrick Mahomes been doing it since he started playing.
Is that really fair?
Lamar has 2 MVPs.
But wait a minute. This is how unfair you are, Left, because
Joe Burrow has reached the Super Bowl. I'm naming quarterback. Jalen Hurts reached Super Bowl.
What
How
I'm
many
telling
years does Josh Allen need?
you, Left, I'm not refuting anything you just said. You just stated all facts. I'm just saying he deserves some time. That's all
I'm
I'm
taking
saying.
Carson Wentz
Left.
healthy over Josh Allen.
Okay, that's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Lucky Lefty podcast. You went all the way to Carson Wentz, bro.
Carson Wentz was on the verge of winning the MVP. When is Josh
Yes, he
Allen?
was. Yes, he was.
When has Josh Allen ever did that?
Josh Allen's never been in the MVP conversation.
When has he ever won one? Carson Wentz was about to win it.
But he
Josh
did.
Allen has never won.
But he didn't.
Lamar has won 2 and been on the Madden cover.
Oh, man. Eric Spadell, thank you for the super chat, my brother. He said all of the games are going to be blowouts at home this year. That's what he says, Left. He agrees with you. And I say this for last. Big time supporter of the show. We greatly appreciate you, Connor Nepper, man. I saw what you put in the chat. We were flowing. I didn't want to interrupt that, but I would like to say and take this moment to say, man, we're with you. Our prayers are with you. Understand you had a rough start to the year. Prayers, condolences to your losses and your family, and may God's peace rest upon you and your family. It's a tough time, but we know you're going to be able to get through it, and always know that the best is still yet to come for your life, man. All right. Thank you for your continued support, Connor. All right, Left, man. Tomorrow we'll talk about who's returning, the production returning for Notre Dame, and whether or not that bodes well for the record that Notre Dame is going to have at the end of the season. Don't forget Patreon/Lucky Lefty Network. I've been saying backslash, but it's patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. For Left, I'm Shaun Davis. Enjoy your Tuesday, but most of all, make sure that you continue to spin it different.